Regional finals for North America are currently underway, and day one was already quite the fiasco. From intensely close lobbies to straight up server issues where Riot was like, hey, we got the tourney a little short today. Hey, I don't know why Riot's Italian. Hey, what the fuck? What the fuck am I doing? Listen, the point is though, there was one game in particular from day one that showcased one of the most difficult skills to master in TFT that we'll see later on in the video that even players at the pro level happen to struggle with. So quite honestly, no matter what rank you are, whether you are a silver player, a bronze player, a masters player, a GM player, or anywhere in between, even challenger maybe, I think today's video will help you out and it'll help you improve as a player. So just give me 20 to 30 minutes of your time and let's just get on with it. Let's talk about that game. So here, as we can see, we are watching this game from actually Garchompro's perspective. Now, if his name sounds any bit familiar to you, it's actually because I did mention him in a previous meta-analysis, and like, he's a great TFT content creator. He makes a lot of really informational TFT content, and I'll link his YouTube channel down below if you want to go check it out. But don't get me wrong, I am critiquing a little bit of what goes on near the end of this game, but fundamentally speaking, and just in general, he's just a way better player than I am. He's at regional finals. I'm not. I'm the one commentating, wishing I was at regional finals, all right? He's a significantly better player than I am, but that doesn't mean that we can't critique mistakes that he makes, because at the end of the day, everybody makes mistakes. Even at the highest echelon of TFT, people still make mistakes, albeit very little mistakes, but he still makes mistakes, and these are things that we can still talk about. Now, what exactly is a mistake that we want to talk about today? What is the big one that players at all ranges make, right? Let's just talk about it because I feel like I've been dragging this on too long. The biggest mistake that players make in the end game, when they do not scout properly enough nor quick enough to try and develop countermeasures against their opponents. Now, what do I mean by this? Once you get to the end game, right? The idea is that you want to just make sure your board is online. This is your biggest priority. Just make sure your board is strong, right? Once your board is strong, then start thinking about countermeasures. What can I do to counter my opponent? Can I build Aegis because they're really heavy into AP and they're playing an AP only board? Maybe they're playing a lot of 80 and attacking a lot of defenders near the end, right? Being able to set up countermeasures in order to counter your opponent is something that you only get to do in the end game, because most of the time during the mid to early game and late game, you're just trying to get online, just trying to get your 2-stars, trying to get your upgrades, and then from there you get to try to create the countermeasures, and that's not going to happen every single game. Most of the time, you're just trying to get your upgrades online, and that's that, right? And that's fine. But there's a step further that goes in the end game that a lot of players are not prioritizing their skills enough to really try to close out lobbies, to really try and win out, right? That's what we're going to be seeing here, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And obviously, this happens near the end, in the end game. So if you skip to the end game, though, you're going to miss out all the context and what led up to that moment. And that's important context you need to understand. Plus, like, again, Garchompro, incredibly fundamentally sound player. There's a lot to learn from, even just watching his gameplay until we get to the end. So don't skip to the end of the video. Don't be that guy, right? You're going to miss out on a lot of good shit. Anyways, 2-1 augments. Let's just move on with the gameplay commentary, okay? 2-1 augments, gold augments. Don't reroll your gold augments at 2-1. Unless it's really unplayable, but you shouldn't do it. The reason why is because gold augments at the very beginning, if you get a 2-1, there is a 17.5% chance you will see a silver augment for the rest of the game. 17.5% chance. That means that you're going to either, most likely, hit a prismatic or a gold at the end. If that's the case, you're going to want to keep your reroll. Would you rather reroll your gold augments at the beginning or at 4-2? It's almost always you'd rather have a reroll saved at 4-2, and the reason why is because your comp is already sort of decided, your direction's decided, and you get 3 unplayable augments at that point, it's impossible. But if you get, even a bit, you have so much flexibility at the beginning, you could go into any direction at the beginning. So if you don't need to reroll it, you absolutely don't need to reroll it, then don't, right? If you absolutely need to, then do it. Like, fuck it, you have to, you don't have a choice. But most of the time, you won't need to, right? And as we can see here, I know a lot of players are very uncomfortable playing Salvage Bin, especially if you're a lower elo. But quite honestly, Salvage Bin is great because it gives you a full item off rip, so you're playing 2 components up against everybody else, and you sort of have more liberty. You can just slam things and then figure it out later. Again, gets dizzy, but if it's playable, and especially at this level of TFT, definitely playable, definitely takeable. And as we can see here, he's going to take Salvage Bin because Knife Edge makes no sense. We're leaning AP. We have Lulu pair, Pant pair, Blitz pair, where all our items are AP. Why would we do that, right? So here, we're going to see that he doesn't level because he's sitting on 3 pairs. He's just going to slam some items here just because he wants to preserve HP. And we're going to tech into an underground loose streak from 2-1. Now, I'm going to fast forward the video here a little bit because, again, we're going to slam some items here, preserve HP. We're playing Salvage Bin. We don't give a shit about what we slam. Just slam something, right? And, do our best, preserve HP. Preserves 2 HP here. Really great. Moving on. Now, again, he doesn't level because he wants to hit his pairs and try to preserve the slew streak. But now he's Lulu 2, Blitz 2. So what are we going to do here? Again, slam items here. Blue buff, GG. Gunblade is actually acceptable in this spot as well. But if we win, great. We will try to play for a win streak then. Otherwise, we'll just keep losing. And that's fine too. Really, really great stuff. Here, checks his admin, scaling HP admin over time because I know it's going a little fast. But, and again, he's playing his strongest board. He knows that he can probably streak from this spot. Gonna make 10 because he wants to economically stay on pace with everybody else because you want to make 10 gold by 2-3, 20 by 2-6 most of the time. And it's great. It's looking great, right? And quite honestly, as we're going to see here, he's going to do a really good job sticking to his fundamentals, leveling here, even though it costs us 8 gold to do so, because we're just trying to preserve a streak, trying to play for a win streak. And quite honestly, he's doing a fantastic job. Again, fundamentally solid. This is what he should be doing every single game. I mean, he shouldn't level to 5 every single game at 2-5, but rather, you know what I mean. He's playing this game very well, and he's basically playing it by ear, right? I'll try to lose streak. But I just hit a lot of upgrades, and I'll try to win streak, Very good stuff. Some people, especially in the early game, they'll be like, 2-1, I got underground. I have to fully commit to a lose streak right off the bat. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. All right? Play flexibly. Play by ear. See what's working, see what's not, and then decide what to commit to, what not to commit to, right? Now, as we can see here, he listened to Sona as well. 4 hard board. Really strong board. We know it's a gold augment, so it's more likely that hero augments will pop up. And our augments are fine. Our tailored traits, they're fine. We have Heart, so we'll probably see a lot of Viego, a lot of whatever. Probably a lot of Spell Slingers, Sona, LeBlanc as well. And as we can see, he hits 3-3-4. He already rerolled over the first one. He didn't take aim assist. And the reason why, again, he's playing around Heart. So ideally, you want to take either, potentially even a Nico augment's actually not bad at this spot. Or maybe Gear Shift, the Twist of Fate one, because we are playing Salvage Bin. We can actually tech into whatever we can. But actually, a Sona augment here is pretty good because, as we can see, Power Grid, the carry Sona augment, pretty good because we're sitting on 4 Heart, and our components are actually amazing for Sona reroll. So that's what we're going to see him take here. And to make things even better, he's going to try to roll down here a little bit to try and find the Sona 2, but also just spike his board just enough so that we are able to preserve our streak, but, not... What was I trying to say? He's trying to preserve his streak and hopefully trying to hit that Sona 2 as well. Makes a lot of sense. Blitz 2, LeBlanc 2, Lulu 2, Lee Sin 2. He's not transferring the items here because he knows the Lulu 2 is stronger than a Sona 1. Keep that in mind. Really great stuff here. And again, playing this perfectly. Playing this so goddamn perfectly, right? Again, fundamentally speaking, he's such a solid player. He knows how to identify his strongest board, knows not to just give his items away too quick to his carry because he doesn't even know if he's going to hit the Sona 2 anytime soon. Playing very well. He's playing this really, really, really well. Here, as we can see, even another like small niche mechanic here, but fills up his bench completely so that he's able to pick up the component that he got from Salvage Bin without having to pick up the Sona from the orb. So he still has a better chance of hitting the Sona than if he were to pick it up from the orb. Really, really solid stuff, right? So what is the game plan from this point? What are we thinking about? We're thinking about, okay, probably Sona reroll, right? We have the Sona carry augment. But there's a bit of a problem. There's a bit of a caveat with Sona reroll in particular. And unless you're very, in tune with the meta, you might not know this. But Sona is actually an incredibly contested unit. Why is she so contested? Lulu reroll uses Sona. Gadgeting Gnar uses Sona. Spellslinger's Ox Force uses Sona. So it's actually one of the most contested units currently in the current state of the meta. So trying to play around a Sona reroll board might be a bit difficult. Here we can actually see that he slams blue buff Shojin JG. And then he slams Ionic Spark. And the reason why he does that is so that he can use up every single component because, again, he's playing around Salvage Bin. Right? We're not too married to the idea of, playing around the most perfect optimal items, but rather, we're just slamming whatever we can, preserving the streak, keeping it going. And you might even notice, he doesn't even level to 7 at 3-5. He's on a 7, now 8 win streak, because spoilers, but he doesn't even level to 7 at 3-5. A lot of players in this spot would level to 7 at 3-5. Why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he do that to preserve his streak? He doesn't do that because he's scouted and understands that his board is strong enough against the current pace of the lobby that he doesn't need to level. So he can actually greed that extra 4 gold that he would have lost if he were to level to 30, right? He can greed the extra money and the level. He's really playing in tempo with the rest of the lobby here. And quite honestly, if he scouts here again, sees that the lobby is still not strong enough to contest his board, he doesn't need a level. Scouts again, notices his matchups are probably not strong enough. They can't beat him. Doesn't matter if they're level 7, he's level 6, they can't beat him. Actually, I don't even know if any of them are level 7. But my point still stands. He knows the tempo of the lobby, he knows his spot, and he knows he doesn't need to push more power in, so he's being incredibly economically efficient. You can call it greedy, but in the reality is, he's being very efficient with his economy, being able to preserve economy whenever possible while still streaking. This is incredibly, incredibly solid fundamentals. Playing with the pace of the lobby. Make sure your board is strong enough. Yada, yada, yada. And again, just fantastic player. Fantastic player! He's so good at the game. What the fuck, man? He's just so good at the game. But, and again here, 4-1. Some players would actually push level 8 here. They push level 8 here because they want to preserve their economy, they want to preserve the streak. Don't get too greedy with the streak. You lose a lot of money if you're to level here now. Plus, there isn't really a necessity to, because again, the plan right now is probably Sona reroll. But because it's such a contested unit, and as he keeps scouting lobby, you can see even the player he's playing against has 2 Sonas. They're not even playing Sona on their board, they're holding 2 Sonas. So, quite honestly, leveling and going level 8 instead is probably the better option right now. Because we know Sona is so contested, and it might be really difficult to try and hit the Sona 3. Now, here, his front line's a little lacking here, and we're already thinking, hey, even if we wanted to roll in 7 for Sona 3, it's actually a little unlikely we're going to find it. It's such a contested unit, a lot of people are playing it, there's a Garchompro player in our lobby, there is a Lulu player in our lobby, this Warwick player is, for whatever reason, holding 2 Sonas. Do we really need to roll at 7? No, we can push level 8. So when we push level 8 here, we notice that our front line is the most lacking part of our composition. So he ends up taking floating front line, even though Axiom Mark does sound kind of good and kind of tempting with Sona. But again, we have blue buff Shojin. Do we really need Axiom Mark? Probably not. So here, as we can see, he's 75 gold. And again, leveling makes a lot of sense here. It makes a lot of sense here. It makes a lot of sense here. Why is he not leveling? Why is he not? He's not leveling for the same reason he didn't level at 3-5. He knows his board is fundamentally solid and strong enough from scouting the lobby and identifying the pace of the lobby and saying, hey, my board is still stronger. This is some incredible, you could call it, again, you could call it greedy. You could call it greedy. But this is some really, really strong showings and tells of someone with a really strong just sense of the game. And being able to read board strength and being like, hey, like, I don't need a level. Fuck you guys. I'm going to sit. I'm going to say it don't matter. I'm on an 11 win streak. I know it's risky. He could level here. He's still against scouting, and he thinks my board is still stronger. It costs him, how much gold is this? Do the math. Quick maths. 18 gold. Cost him 18 gold to level here. It only cost him 2 extra gold to level here. Right? But he doesn't level. He doesn't level because he knows his board is strong enough that he doesn't need to. Again, you can call this greedy, but this is quite honestly a showing of just someone who's just very fundamentally sound and doesn't need to do it. He knows where to push the limit. This is quite honestly incredible stuff. He, like, you could be like, oh, he should have leveled earlier for tempo, yada yada yada, but the reality is that he knows his spot, he knows the strength, and this is just, again, crazy showing of his strong fundamentals. Anyways, moving on to the carousel here, I'm going to speed up to 4x speed because again, not much to talk about, but there is one thing in particular here that is great for him, and he actually gets it. It is Heart Spat on Fiddlesticks. Why is this good? Good for 2 reasons. One, you're level 8 next turn. We know we're level 8 here. Even if you green max economy, he's level 8 here. We know that for a fact. Level 8, but what is the craziest thing about this? The craziest thing is that he could have teched in Fiddlesticks to level 8, but instead what he gets to do here is that he gets to actually just slam this spat onto LeBlanc. 6 heart. This is his strongest board. And because he has Salvage Bin, if he happens to run into another crest of any type, that is a forgeable crest, or another spat in general, he gets a Fawn for free. Very, very 5-hit. Very, very good stuff. And he gets to hold his Fiddlesticks, he's 50 gold. And you might be wondering, okay, well, is he going to roll at 8 to try to hit the Sona 3 now? Because, you know, level 7, level 8, the 3 cost odds are the same. No. Again, it's pretty contested throughout the lobby. He's been scouting constantly. Really great fundamentals, really great stuff. He knows that Sona is so contested that it doesn't make sense to roll on 8. So what does he do? He's 50 gold, level 8. We're just going to fast 9. Even though he's playing a carry augment, and some of you are like, hey, like, I got to value my Sona 3 because that's my out. That's my win condition, right? It doesn't have to be. Your win condition, you could have just a really strong Sona on your board. And then just play like 2-star Urgot, 2-star Fiddle, 2-star Mordekaiser, 2-star Leona, 2-star Janna. Like, how the fuck is anyone going to beat your board then? They can't, right? Your power doesn't have to solely come from your hero augment just because your hero augment happened to be like the carry version of whatever, right? You can just go 9 and play like a Bill Gates board if your position allows you to. Or just play around really strong units instead, and that's fine as well. Your hero augment doesn't need to be sort of like your end-all, be-all, if you will. So, again, really, really great stuff. Really, really great stuff. Now, again, should he level to 9 here? No! No, he shouldn't. He's 94 HP. What's the rush? There is no rush. People are dying in this lobby. There's no rush, right? And there's no rush because he's 94 HP. Even if he started bleeding out now, it's fine. Bleeds out for a little bit, saves up a lot of economy. It's fine. Because if you go to level 9, he's going to have, what, like maybe 10 gold to roll? That's some dumb shit. If you are going to level 9 and you only have 10 gold to roll, you're a degenerate. There's no other way to put it. You're just kind of a degenerate. Why would you go 9 and then just sit on 1-cost legendaries? Your 1-cost legendaries are weaker than not only 2-star 4-cost, but even 2-star 3-cost. A Sona 2 is probably stronger than an Urgot 1. I'm just saying. So, quite honestly, don't go level 9 if you can't afford to. And what I mean by that is not only just pushing levels aspect, but actually being able to roll down for units at level 9. As we can see here, he's again greeding the economy, trying to make sure that when he goes 9, he has a lot of money to roll down for. Because not only does he want 2-star upgraded legendaries, they're fucking expensive. A 2-star Urgot costs 15 gold. You want 2-star legendaries, that's 30 gold. 45 gold. Really expensive, so being able to make sure that you have the money for it is really important. As we can see here, he's not pushing level. He did lose. He finally lost. He was on a tremendous weak streak, finally lost, but that's okay. Now he's at a spot where he can just fast 9. He even fucking wins here. Again, incredible stuff in terms of his fundamentals. Just really, really great stuff. Really, really just solid gameplay. How the fuck can this dude make mistakes? Where the fuck is the mistake, Kai? You said that there was going to be a mistake at the end game. One person already eliminated. Fucking 4 other people are sub 20 HP. Where's the mistake? Levels to 9 here, right? Is this the mistake? No. He doesn't even level here. Doesn't need to. So where's the mistake? Well, let me tell you. Again, what did I say before? The biggest problem that players make, even at the highest echelon of TFT, they don't scout properly enough to find the countermeasures they need to start putting into place. Now, what do I mean by this? Who is the biggest threat in this lobby? You don't have the power to scout. We're not actually playing in the lobby, right? But who is the largest threat in this lobby? Just take a look on the right-hand side, right? There's Kurum, Jukyu, Kivix, or Kivix, I don't know how to pronounce it. Deepay, Broccoli, Wasian Iverson. Who is the biggest threat? It's not a difficult question. You don't even have to look at their boards to know. It's probably Jukyu. Jukyu is 19 HP, but he is not only on a win streak, but he's been winning. If you've been paying close attention, he's been winning. He's been on a win streak. So, what does this mean? It's very likely that Jukyu will be one of the final opponents that we'll be playing against. That's really, really important to note. If we know, because we're at 71 HP, there's no way we're not at least top 3, if not top 2, right? Somebody, like 2 people have to be like incredibly winning out, and even if that's the case, like mathematically speaking, I don't even know if it's possible, unless Kermax is also somebody else who's winning out, right? So, mathematically, we're at least top 3. So if we can already determine who one of our opponents are, we should start thinking and preparing about, hey, like how do we, win against their board? What do we do in order to win against them, right? Garchompro, in case you haven't noticed, has yet to look at his board. Oh, he's looking at it now. But, you got a glimpse of it, right? He's not really properly scouting to see, okay, what exactly is on his board that makes him such a threat, right? Scouts the lobby like slightly, not really looking for. Again, it's so quick. He barely sees. He just sees, oh, this person's playing Gadgeting. Oh, this person's playing Spellslingers. Oh, whatever. That's it. He's not thinking like deep enough into it, right? For example, right? And you know what? Let's just let the VOD keep playing, right? Just keep the VOD playing. Count how many times he scouts Jukyu from the spot. How many times does he scout him, right? Doing his roll down here, right? Rolling down, trying to find upgrades. Great. Cool. What upgrades are we looking for? Any legendaries? Sure, why not? Sounds great, right? It's not. Why is that not good? Are any 2-star legendaries going to win us the game? What more do we need to be putting into here? A lot of people kind of assume that Bill Gates boards are just any 2-star legendaries. Doesn't matter what you find, any 2-star legendaries you throw into your board and you'll just win the game. Even at the highest level of TFT, people think that way. That is not true. Some 2-stars are more important than others. Here he scouted D-Pit, by the way. He didn't scout Jukyu yet. He has not scouted Jukyu at all yet. So, this is a problem. Because, yeah, he has Fiddle too. He has Mordekaiser too. Asol too. He has a strong-ass fucking board. But just because we have strong units on our board and a strong board doesn't mean that it's going to be the board that wins us out. Really great stuff here, right? Top 3. Top 2. 6-3. He has no money left. He did a roll down already. Finally scouts Jukyu's board. We knew from like 5-6 that we would probably run into this guy at least within the top 3, if not top 2. He has Nar 3, Urgot 2, Nunu 2. Is there a problem? Is there a problem? The answer is yes. There is a problem. There's a problem here because we don't have an answer to this. He has Nunu 2, Nar 3, Urgot 2. And actually, a pair of fiddles on his bench. What does this mean? What does this tell us? What does this board say, right? What is its strengths? What is its weaknesses? This board has a lot of healing on it because Nar heals infinite. Also, Nunu, Gunblade, heals a lot of fucking HP. So we need some form of anti-heal. We need some way to deal with the incredibly high HP that both Nar and Nunu have. And again, keep in mind, they're gadget team. So they get damage reduction. So we need a lot of really strong, focused, single target damage. And Urgot 2, Fiddle 2 means a lot of CC. Let's look at our board. Ooh, Asol 2. We have an anti-healing measure. Great, perfect. Do you notice something yet? Do you know? How the fuck are we going to kill this Nar? And how the fuck are we going to kill this Nunu? We don't have an answer. This entire time we've been streaking, we've just kind of been like, oh, we're in Disneyland. Just fucking Bill Gates this shit and we're done. Is that really how that works out? What is our win condition now? We're 5 gold. We don't have any money left. Even if we wanted to set up a countermeasure, we can't. Because then we're just out of money. So, as we're going to see here, Garchompro is going to start losing. And not only is he going to start losing, he's going to start losing bad. Because we've never, up until this point, tried to even think about a way to set up a countermeasure or a preventative measure that would have let us answer this guy. So, what are we going to do now? Well, cool story. We have 2 Mordekaiser 2s. Oh, okay. Our owl must be Mordekaiser 3. If your win condition is a 3-star 5 cost, at least have an Urgot on your board. At least find a way to tech on, like, infinite amount of money so that you can go for the 3-star 5 cost. And even then, a 3-star 5 cost is a very easy win condition to play against. Because what ends up happening is that as long as your opponent buys at least 1 copy, it's like damn near impossible to hit the other hit the 3-star. It's possible, don't get me wrong. But using a 5-starred like a 3-star 5 cost as your win condition is just poor planning. I'm sorry, at the end of the day, it's poor planning, right? We knew, again, from 5-6 or even 5-5 really, what we were dealing with, right? We knew this, right? So how do we actually counter this board? What units could we have looked for instead that would have helped us out with this? And in fact, let's do a little exercise real quick. What could we have done, right? What could we have done? Well, if we look here, right? This is the board that we had at 5-6. I might even have a screenshot of it, right? This is the board that we had at 5-5. We have 50 gold here, basically. We have 50 gold here. And it's 5-5. We're level 9. We have 79 HP. We have so much time to think about what to do. We're level 9. We're level 9. We gotta think. Look at this board. Can you tell me how many open slots you have? You know what I mean by open slots? Let me just clarify, just in case you don't know. An open slot means a unit that needs to be replaced. Or rather, a unit that should be replaced by a higher tier or a higher cost unit. Such as Fiddlesticks, Urgot, Mordekaiser, whatever. How many open slots do we have on this board? right? We're 2 away from Lee Sin 3. Actually, 1 away if you count the duplicator. We are, like, what? 5 Sonas away from 3-star Sona. Pretty far away. 4 if you count the duplicator. So how many open slots do we have? Do you have an answer yet? The answer is that we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, actually, Ace-Hole, we want to keep Ace-Hole. If we had Scouter, we would know that we need anti-heal. But 1, 2, 3, Alistar 4, and actually Viego 5, and actually LeBlanc 6. We're not keeping a LeBlanc 2 on our board. So, out of all these units that we have at our disposal, and all the units that we would have wanted to keep, or rather we have on this board right now, that is all we're keeping. We're keeping the Ace-Hole for anti-heal. We're taking out Viego for Syndra. Lee Sin, this is assuming, because we're really close to Lee Sin 3, we might as well just 3-star this, right? We're basically trying to hit 3 stars, Lee Sin. It's almost guaranteed. And we have Sona. Potentially Sona 3. Highly unlikely, right? So how do we fight against the Gadget Team board that we're going to be playing into? And again, we knew from like 5-5-5-6, this guy's probably going to be an issue to deal with. So how do we think about utilizing these open slots to fight against the Gadget Team player? And again, weaknesses of Gadget Team. Really high focus single target damage. Does that ring any bells in your head? What unit in this set specializes in single target, heavy target unit damage? Leona. Leona is an incredibly strong and incredibly important unit to make sure that we tech onto our board, because we need to make sure that we have a way to kill the Gnar and a way to kill the Nunu, right? That's the important thing. Number 2, at 5-6, we had a Heart Crest. We didn't know we were going to hit the Fawn yet, right? So we'll keep this on here. So right now, 4 Heart is probably going to stay on our board. We should be also holding any Sonas we see. Doesn't matter how contested we are, every single Sona, you should hold on to it. Because Sona 3, people are going to die. Sonas are going to get thrown back into the pool. You have what? 5% less odds? You have 30% odds at level 9 to try to hit the Sonas? That's high enough. You're going to eventually find it if you hold on to every single one that you find. Even if you low roll, you don't have to use Sona as your main carry. I mean, Ace-Hole can be a carry, Leona can be a carry. But quite honestly, you can also think of other units as well. Twisted Fate. A lot of single target. Ramps up over time. It's a fine option. I mean, it's not the best option, but it's a fine option as well. So, what I'm saying is this, like, the rest of the open slots, you can think of stuff like, oh, like Fiddlesticks 2, terrific. You can think of like, oh, like, I don't know, like, more, Urgot, right? Urgot, by the way, great on heart boards. The reason being that your heart units are ramping up AP over time, and Urgot's Dredge, his chance of trying to find treasure, goes up and scales with AP. So, hearts and having an Urgot on your board just basically farms you infinite money. Infinite money, infinite components. So, this is really great to tech into your board, and maybe, I don't know, just to make things nice, maybe an Echo, Aegis, and Star Guardian, right? Board ends up looking something like this. This board has a way better chance of beating out that Gadget Team board than whatever board that Garchompro ends up playing. You know, you can even look for, like, the Mech Leona, too. You have Salvage Bin. He had, I believe he had Hodge GS on his LeBlanc here. Hodge GS here. Potentially play around Hodge, and then, like, GS sword and bow, so you can play around like potentially BT somewhere. You find like RC, maybe backline her or something. A lot of options here with the mech, something like here as well. Same, I think this is exactly the same board that I showed you earlier. Oh, this is just 2 Fiddlesticks, right? A lot of options, but you need to be able to identify this. And if you don't identify it, you just can't win out. You don't identify the weaknesses. Look at his board. He has 2 more 2s. Really strong. But he still has this LeBlanc 2 on his board. Still has this Blitz 2 on his board. And he might be thinking to himself, like, why can't I beat this guy? I have, like, all these legendaries in the world. And the reason why is because he just never identified the weaknesses. He never identified the weaknesses on the opponent's board, so he just can't seem to win out. And you might be watching these fights, you might be thinking, oh, it's kind of close. But the reality is that they're not. They're not close because he never really thought about the way to counter these boards. So you can see, like, here, it seems like he's in a good spot, right? He has the Fawn. He gave up from the Heartcrest, gave up the LeBlancs. Cool. You notice he's just skipping over the Leonas? He hasn't even really thought about the win condition here, right? And, again, I'm not trying to flame him or anything because he's, again, an incredible player, really strong player. And maybe you can even argue that the 5-star 3 cost out is the better option because he's sitting on a duplicator here. But you can't lie, this option is way riskier. Way riskier, way harder to find, way harder to hit, right? Here, he's rolling again on neutrals, trying to hit. He has 2 Fiddle 2s, 2 Mordekaiser 2s, right? Oh, he's so close. Like, there's no way he doesn't hit. His opponent just has to hold a Mordekaiser or a Fiddlesticks. Just keep rolling until he finds them, right? He's holding a Mordekaiser on his bench, as you can see. Fiddlesticks 3 is the only option, and he's actually 2 Fiddles away. Right? And as you can see here, he's given up on any other potential out, and he has no choice but to. His only win condition here is Fiddlesticks 3. Hits a Fiddlestick straight. He's still missing that one. Has to sell his board here. This is such a risky play. Look how risky this shit is. He ends the board with... Oh, he had 8 Fiddlesticks. He was so close. But this is, in my opinion, just very poor planning. As we can see here, goes out with a second. And again, he is a fantastic player. An incredibly strong player. But he could have done better. And you can't argue that he could have done better to try and look for a different win condition besides a 3-star legendary. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And I hope you guys learned something. And again, no flame. I think he's a spectacular player. And if you want to create an argument, please feel free to go ahead. I would love to hear a rebuttal. I'd love to hear somebody tell me like, oh no, he played that perfectly well. Like, you're just missing out on something. And I didn't see it. That's fine too, right? Again, thank you for watching. And I hope you guys learned something. Happy climbing.